All right, YouTube, we got another waiver in the building. I asked him, I said, are you dipping? He said he don't know. All right, and I had to explain to him, if somebody came up to me and said, are you dipping? I'm gonna say I'm dipping, all right? Then he confessed, he said he was dipping, but he don't have to say that because it's obvious that you can see it through the do-rag, all right? So we're gonna take it off and see what he's working with. All right, moment of truth here, moment of truth. The texture is looking nice, as you can see right here. The texture is just it's looking nice, but let's see what he's working with. Y'all already knew what it was when you seen it through the do-rag. What kind of cut you get?
Huh?
What kind of cut you get?
Low fade.
Low fade?
Yeah.
Low fade?
Mm-hmm.
Low fade? Hey y'all, listen, I might have to film this. This is a low fade. Yeah, I might have to do something with this. Alright you guys, stay tuned. Alright, so to get started, I'm going to start by combing the hair with the grain, lifting the hair off the scalp. You want to do this that way when you cut it with the grain, the hairs will be lifted off of the scalp. That way you'll get a more even cut. So during the client consultation, I asked my client what kind of cut he wanted. You guys seen that in the intro. He wanted a low fade, but I forgot to ask what length on top. So I asked him and he said he wanted a 3, so I put on a 3-guard close, and right now I'm just going with the grain of his pattern, making sure I go slow, making sure I when I did the comb through, I made sure that there was no calyx or anything like that. So just make sure you take your time with wavers, make sure you keep going with the grain, make sure you go over it multiple times. That way your client could get that even cut. So when it comes to putting the fade in, the first thing I like to do is I like to set in my bald line using my Endless Cordless T outliner. And the way I'm going to set this in is I'm going to set it in as if I'm lining them up just around the ears, and then I'm going to drop it in the back, but I'm going to keep everything as low as possible. Using my Babyliss Goat FX with the 2-guard open, I'm going up and I'm basically using this as a guideline to where I really need to stop. I'm just setting this in. I'm probably doing it like a full inch or inch and a half, and I'm setting it up early on how high I want to go. So now that I got the visual on how high I want to go up, now it's time to set in my guidelines like I normally do. I start with the lever open and I go up about a 1/2 inch, and I make sure I keep that 1/2 inch consistent all the way through. Now with the one guard open, I'm going up about a ½ inch and I'm making sure that I keep it consistent all the way through. So putting back on the 2 guard with the lever open, I'm basically just flicking at the top. I'm not really trying to go up. I'm not really trying to set in another guideline. I'm just trying to take off some of that bulk at the top to where the transition looks more smooth. Now I'm putting back on that 1 guard, flicking at that area between the 1 and the 2. Now using the 0 guard close in a flick out motion, flick out that bottom line. Now this part is probably the most difficult part, and this will probably take you a little longer than the other steps, because you want to make sure you use your corners as much as possible. You want to make sure that you open the blade as much as possible during this cut. Remember, as you go up, adjust your lever and make sure you take your time when you're doing it. You see, I'm using the corner of my blade most of the time. I'm not really rushing it, using that full blade, because I don't want that other end of that blade to take off more than I want. So I'm just going to continue to just play with that corner and just flick out and adjust the lever as I go. Alright, with the lever closed is basically the same exact thing that I do with the 0 guard close. In a flick out motion, flick out that bottom line. Notice how I'm using my corners, and you're just gonna have to open that and adjust your lever as you go up. Now taking my Babyliss gold shavers, I'm gonna create another transition at the very bottom, and it's gonna make the blend a lot more smoother by making it razor bald. So when it comes to wavers, what I like to do is knock down the front a guard size lower, if not, just all the way to a 1.5. This prevents any overhang that your client might have when he starts brushing and everything's out of place. This will completely prevent that. So make sure you always knock down the front line up a guard size lower. And if you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also, if you like the beat, Hustle Dreams Productions, his link will be in the description below. You can follow his YouTube channel. Otherwise, you guys can follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. My Snapchat is Jeezy360 and my Instagram is 360Jeezy. But it's your boy 360Jeezy, and I'm out of here. Chick.